Got a picture of Red Rock Canyon. So
Red Rock Canyon,
yeah.
place I'd like to visit someday.
When was the next time you're visiting Vegas?
I don't know. Who knows? We'll
All
see
right.
what happens.
All right. Cool. Love to take you to lunch. There's a lot of great Mexican down here.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Jay. So thanks for having me on here. So we just did a very large job, and this customer had back charged the entire third day on us, and that's uh, really unfortunate because I thought she was going to be a customer that was. I didn't think she was going to be easy, but I also didn't think that she was going to be that scummy either. And we had submitted our evidence, and the evidence has been not accepted. In fact, they ruled in favor of her by American Express, and the decision is final. And what hurts is that we spent 7 hours to compile all this evidence, and I feel like they didn't even look at it because they made their decision less than 12 hours after that.
Okay. Now, so you lost your dispute with American Express, correct? Is that what
Through
you're
my
saying?
virtual processor Stripe, that's correct.
Okay. Did they say why that they you lost? Is Did they give you a reason why?
Oh shoot, do I have the option to share a screen right now or no?
Yeah. Hang on. I think so. Let me see if I.
I'll make sure that I'm not going to show something that's too private, but this is something that I can go ahead and show once I'm on the right email here.
Right. If you go down to present, you should be able to do your screen.
Okay. All right. Let me make sure that I'm not going to show you something too private before that happens because I can tell you that this is a little bit short of 1800. It's 1.789K, I believe. So
Hmm.
this could happen to another mover, and I think it could be valuable for them to know that we're no longer accepting American Express. Okay, let me see. Oh, I know which email it's on. Okay, it was on this one. That's right. Okay. Have you lost disputes before?
Have I lost what?
Have you lost a dispute from a um, credit card
No,
chargeback?
no. But I
That's
never we never dealt with American Express either. So I don't know.
okay.
I every dispute that we've had. I don't want to brag, but we won. So
Man, that's good. That's good. When you were running things, did you have mostly cash transactions or was it mostly credit card?
actually, it was mostly checker cash.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because,
we didn't really start taking credit card until like the last 5 years of business because I didn't have a way. I was too scared to get a processor, and I thought you had to have jump through all these hoops, which I found out later you didn't. And then the last 5 years, we started taking credit cards. There you
okay.
go.
Do you see my screen?
I can now. Yep.
Okay.
Decided in the favor of thing. Dispute. Don't want to give the name out, but dispute was created because the customer said they didn't receive the purchased product. Disputes are part of the business. Blah blah blah. It doesn't really say why they did it, other than the customer say they didn't get what they were purchasing.
Right. That's correct.
Is there a reason why they say that? Did you like? Did you give them a signed BOL or receipt or anything?
Yeah. And this is information I don't mind to share. In fact, I decided to expedite the videos and reels I was going to do on Instagram. And I also uh, went ahead and compiled all these geotagged photos. So let me show you what those are on my Dropbox. Stand by. So okay, Dropbox here, and let me get to the right file. Customers normally get their own file because they're part of a net 30 or they're a problem customer.
Mm.
Okay. So let's see if this can show up onto the thing itself. Okay. All right. So this is our CRM. It was accepted online. We had to post all this into a collage. It took quite a bit of time to get all these things, but we also have a customer communication that hey, here's a compiled PDF of everything that we have put on here, including the screenshot that you just saw.
Mhm.
And it also shows, hey, here's on Stripe when this was done. It was back on January 8th, 2024 at 12:04 a.m. at midnight, right? So this job was very long. We assembled over 45 different things that are in boxes, and
Mhm.
it was not what was seen during the estimation. So I did warn her. I said, "Hey, there's actually four times more stuff than you had let me on to know that we're actually assembling. We're going to be there all day. Four men are going to be working a long time to unpack your things and to go ahead and assemble things like this patio sofa right here with the chase, as you can see that.
Mhm.
She sent me very little of those iMessages, and I went ahead and put everything that she had purchased from the Amazon or Wayfair or wherever she bought this stuff from, like the space heater. Space heater was pretty easy, but there are some complicated pieces like this barbecue pit right here. That one took quite a while. But she didn't mention everything that was on here. Here is all of the things of conversation we had during iMessage, and that's the handyman I referred her to, which unfortunately he didn't get paid a penny. He did 3 weeks of work for her, and he didn't get paid anything. So we're not dealing with a um, very good woman. And she also claims to be a business person, but I've never met a business person that screws over another small business.
Yeah, it does happen. Okay, I get the idea. So
Yep,
you presented a lot of information, but
I sure
American,
did.
you,
Yeah,
it sounds
yeah,
like you did a lot of time and effort to only be screwed by American Express. But American Express, obviously, they're going to favor typically, obviously, um, within their customers because they're that lady is their customer. So
yep.
you know,
Check out all those boxes we had to assemble, man. Like it was filling up a three-car garage. It's crazy. There's so many boxes. We had to take a double trip with that specific truck. We worked into the um, morning of all 3 days in order to get this very large house um, moved in, things assembled, and these are the geotag photos that have a time, date, stamp. And I would think that someone that investigates this type of stuff for a living, they're going to look at the data because you could actually find the metadata of where this was taken from. This was taken from a cell phone, and it would tell you what type of cell phone. It's a Samsung phone. It's going to be a time and date. But I feel like that these people don't even care, and they should be having our back and be supporting. Oh yeah, these bookshelves were really super difficult. Took more than an hour to assemble each one, and these desks are really a big pain in the ass to assemble as well. And also, she thought that we were going to take away the garbage, and I said, no, that's not what we offer. I offered you to hire my friends who offer junk removal, and we assembled all this furniture. Um, we moved all these things. She also claimed I stole her expensive wine, um, but she was there watching me every step of the way. So that's not true. I know I'm not a thief. I don't steal. My guys don't steal either. If they are, they're not going to be with me long. I'm going to call the cops on them. So I wanted to show you all this stuff, and here's some geotag information that we were there for many, many hours on end because we keep a cell phone for the crew leader. So
Mhm.
this way it can track where our guys are at any given time. Kind of like an air tag, but more powerful, you know?
Right, right. No, that's smart. I'm glad you took all that information. And you're right. This is definitely something that the other guys, other movers would like to know and have available. Um, okay, so I'm going to go back. We're going to take that off the screen. Um,
Okay.
now, this is $1,800, just shy of $1,800, just short of $1,800.
Right. That's
You,
correct.
you lost the dispute with American Express, but I don't know your laws in Nevada, but have you thought about going to small claims court with this?
Absolutely. In fact, that's why I wanted to talk to you about that and how I could start the process because I cannot let the bad guys win.
Right. I mean, and $1,800 is a significant enough amount of money to go and think. Here's the pros and the cons of it. The pros are, with all the information that you have, there's a good chance that the court will rule in your favor. Right.
Okay.
Again, I can't promise that. I don't know the courts in your city or state. But you definitely have grounds. You definitely have proof that you did the job. You carefully packaged up the job, et cetera, et cetera. Um, you've got the communications and everything. It's pretty much, if you lay it out and you put it in a nice organized book, a little flip chart type book, and put it like chapter and verse. You know what I mean? Put, here's chapter one. Here's this. Here, you know what I mean? And there,
Oh,
where the
I have a printer that's in my BNI network. I think you'd be glad to help me out with that.
yeah, I mean, and this is, if you like really do it, like you really create like a book, and it
Hmm.
doesn't have to be fancily bound. It could just be a regular spiral bound or something, but just
Hmm.
have it like where they can flip. The judge can go and he can look up, look per chapter. Go, oh, here's this, here's this, here's a copy of the contract. Here's the communications we had, and he could just go like this, and you show that you're prepared, and you go in there, you're wearing nice, nice clothes, preferably semi casual, semi professional, maybe even a suit. um there's a good chance you're going to win, based on what you're showing me. I wouldn't, I could, unless the judge is completely a moron. The judge is going to say, hey, you did the work and you're owed the money, right?
Right.
So that's the good thing. The thing is just going in there prepared, making sure that there's no way the judge would have any kind of questions. You have the stuff laid out in order. That's, you took the time, because if you take the time and make it look good and present it well, he's going to think, oh, okay, good. If you went through the time and effort to do this, you obviously took the time and effort to do the job right. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? Subconsciously, that's what he's going to be thinking, or she, right? I don't want to, you know, misgender any kind of judge.
Hey,
Um,
when you went to court for your claims, small claims courts, did you ever see the defendant, or was it just you and talking to the judge? What was it like? Because I don't know what it's like.
well, the first time I went, I won two disputes. I won one dispute. The customer was with me, and all I did, and I was like, "Hey, he owes me the money. Here's the contract. The contract clearly stated the terms." And judge said, "Okay, yeah, here it is." All I presented was the contract, and the signed contract. And my judge, which was female, she just looked it over. She read it. She went to her chambers to look over things. Came back and said, "Yep, it's a signed contract." He admitted that he did a signed contract. You know what I mean? He owes you the money. Boom, right? I did lose like $90 because we did damage a piece of item, but it clearly stated it was for 60 cents per item. So he won that part, but I was willing to pay it, and that wasn't the problem. The problem was is he refused to pay me the entire bill, right, which was nearly $2,000, like you, um, over $100 claim, right? And I was like, no, man, that's not how this works, right?
Right.
You pay in full, then then I give you, then we go and do the damage claim, and he didn't want to do that, so I had to take him to court. So I'd won, but I did lose and think, because in my contract it says, um, if any unpaid amount, you agree to pay me 3 times the amount. The judge didn't approve that; she just approved what was on the bill. So
Oh, okay. All right.
say la,
Well,
say la vie. She said that she didn't give me that. She goes, I'm just gonna give you. You're gonna win the what he was owed, and that was it. So not a big deal. And I think it cost me like $60 to file the claim, which I just did handwriting. It took me 10 minutes to write the claim out and present some evidence. We got,
man,
got
60 bucks. I thought it was gonna be like 600. I'm so glad it's not as bad as I thought it might be.
well, again, I don't know your state. For
Oh, well,
it was my state was yeah, my state was $60 to file the claim. You just go
okay.
into the friend of the court, or not the friend of the court, whatever. It was the court, right? You can go in your courthouse and they'll tell you where to go. I went up and said, "Hey, I need to file a small claims thing." They go, "Here's a form, fill this out, and it's $60." And again, this is like 10 years ago too, so it might be $160 now. But
Probably, but that's still better than what I thought would be 600, like even like in your area. So
no, yeah, I was $60. We got a court date. He and I both showed up, and we were sitting right next to. We were at the same table. We were just sitting right next to each other, and we were talking to. The judge actually had to come out because he and I were laughing and joking during the process. You know, she was in her chambers doing her research, and we were talking about good restaurants to go to and everything. It was definitely a very friendly affair between he and I, because I was a businessman, he was a businessman, and we just had a dispute, and it wasn't personal. It wasn't personal against me or him. You know what I mean? And he didn't make it personal against me. And we worked together, and I was very, and at the end we became friends. And the other time that I won just because the guy just never showed up. So I got my full claim of nearly $5,000 on that one. So
whoa, okay. So when you're not going to your own court case, basically it's a forfeiture on your side of the story.
whoever doesn't show up, yeah, if you don't, like, if you had a court case and you didn't show up, you would have forfeited, and the person would have won just out of default.
What a bonehead.
Yeah. So he delayed the court case for like a year, and then finally the last time he just never showed up, and I won because he didn't show up.
Man, damn.
And then he
Okay.
tried to sick his lawyer on me, tried to sue me, and I was like, no. And so he had to pay, and he ended up screwing. And his attorney was such a dick. I just told him, I was willing to settle for. I was owed 5,000. I was willing to settle for 3, and then the attorney decided to be a jerk. And I told the attorney right to his face that he was a dickhead. And I said, you need to go back to your client and tell him you just lost him another $2,000, and have a good day. And I walked out. And he, because he thought he could bully me, and I'm not one of those guys you can bully, not easily anyway. But anyway, those are the 2 court cases that I had. It didn't take a lot.
And how long did it take into your business before you started litigating?
It I only had a couple incidences of this.
Right.
But the first time that I got screwed over, and I didn't have a contract, and I lost like $3,000 off it because I didn't have a contract or any kind of BOL or anything. That was
Right.
the first time I went, okay, this is never happening to me again. And that's when I got my BOL. That's when and then I went to an attorney to get some small print for my thing. That cost me $600 to go get like this attorney to write off these terms and conditions, right? And I told him what I wanted, and he did it, and he gave me this form, which I just copied and turned onto a piece of paper. So every time I had a job, my BOL was on the front part, the back was all the terms and conditions. And every time I printed off a BOL, that's what I did on my computer. And then those two instances came across, and I had my signed BOLs, I had all my pictures and all that, and it was easy peasy winning once I once I had my ducks in a row and had everything in writing. So
Man, there should be no excuse for if that cost you $600 back then because you didn't have Gemini or Bard and ChatGPT, and
yeah,
I think this is an excellent opportunity to leverage AI in your favor, and you don't have to spend that type of money and go to a lawyer's office. You just have to
right,
have prompts.
right. The thing is, though, with using Bard or Chat GPT, you really want to make sure that it's the stuff is legal, because
Hmm.
you really should have an attorney at least look it over,
Okay.
right?
Sure.
Which they probably, they would probably look it over. You can have Chat GPT and Bard and all that, write that off, but at least have an attorney look it over to make sure that it's corrected, and if it's not, to have it corrected. So that still might it still be worth a couple $100, because it was a one-time fee for me. It was a $600 thing, but that sucker saved me a lot of money. $600 saved me like 5,000, and and so on and so forth. So it was worth it. It turned out to be worth the investment. But
True. Yeah, and I'll disclaim that I'm not a lawyer, of course. So,
right,
um, I think we're giving sage advice to anyone that's listening about it.
yeah. So I think your next step would be to take it to small claims court.
Okay.
Do a little bit of research, take it to small claims court, um, and then just go that way. Because there, you obviously, if you have a signed contract or signed BOL, you've got all the text messages, you've got all the pictures that showing your work and stuff. There's no reasonable judge or magistrate's going to say, yeah, you did not do that work and that you're not deserving of that money. Unless there's some kind of weird thing like you damaged like everything and they can prove that you damaged it or stole the wine,
Yeah.
right? Or I mean,
Crazy.
and then
Right.
that means they would have to go and have to get some sort of conviction or something like that. They can't just say, well, they stole the wine. Well, can you prove it? No. Then they didn't steal the wine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These judges, they're pretty good to know, like, to that stuff. These guys aren't stupid, right? You can't pull the wool over their eyes that easily. So they can have stupid excuses, and I think I think that should be your next step. And I don't want to speak out of turn or out think, because I'm not an attorney, I'm not a judge or magistrate or anything. But it doesn't seem like with all that that data that you shown that you could not win that case, pretty much easily, hands down. Um, in the future, you should probably put a clause in anything if you have to take this to court, right? That they owe you 2 times or 3 times, because my contract said 3 times,
Right.
3 times the amount that's owed. So if they ended up owing $1,000, they're going to end up paying me 3,000 in small claims court.
Right.
So you do you, right? I even my attorney, when I said I wanted that clause, because I'll put it in there, but it's not necessarily legal. I go, well, is it illegal? He goes, no. I'm like, then it goes in the contract, right? At the very least, if you point that out to them, right? If someone tries to pull that and you go, hey, that's fine. If I have to take this to court, you agreed in my contract that you would pay 3 times the unpaid amount. And that right there, when I've used that thing in the contract, that usually settled it most of the time. Because there was
Well, Jay, and I see why you would do that because you're not being greedy or being or being illogical. In fact, I would say the opposite because you're doing it for the company and you also are spending more time on this that shouldn't need to be done. So you should be paid for it. And if not, hey, the worst that could happen is at least you could scare off a scumbag who's trying to bully you or trying to do those type of things.
exactly, and that's what I used it for. So it
Right.
did come in on a couple of times when somebody try to get a little bit on the scammy side. I say that's fine, but you're going to pay me 3 times the thing per this, you know. Um, and even if I don't get the amount that the 3 times the amount, I'll at least get what I'm owed.
Okay.
And the other con about that, though, is then it becomes about collection, right?
Right.
Because the courts are not going to they're not going to collect they're not going to do anything to collect the money. So you've got to collect your own money. So you'd want to get an attorney to do collections for this, right? And in my state, if they lose a lawsuit in small claims court, they have 30 days to pay it. After that, you're allowed to then go and start garnishing their wages, right?
Hmm. Okay.
But I would have to go back to the court, prove that they didn't pay me, right? Or tell them that they pay me and get a court order for them to garnish the wages. Once I got that court order, then I could go to where they work and then I'd say, hey, here's the paperwork to their boss. And you need to start paying me every month out of their paycheck per the legal requirements. Now, people don't want to do that because one, it's embarrassing, and two, they could get fired for that because now their boss is now being responsible to pay off their debt, and no boss really wants to do that. I know I don't want to. If someone says I got to start paying money directly to a court for for one of my employees, that employee is fired. I'm not wasting my time with them, right? Because I'm not going to do that. That's too much work on my end to do that. So no employer really wants to do that.
Right. I actually got those notices about family lawyers, and it happens to do with child support. So that those are cats that don't stay with me very long, especially when we have that conversation. So I get it. Um, I I hope that this person is going to be logical and reasonable after going there and paying me right off the bat, because otherwise, I think it'll be very, very embarrassing for a pharmacist that doesn't want to pay their movers.
Well, I would be very surprised if you went and told her that you were filing. You went to your court and you and filed a small claims report on them and sent them the documentation,
Mhm.
right? I wouldn't. I'd be surprised if they just didn't buckle right then and there, because then they're going to say, "Oh, this guy's serious." Because see, a lot of people play that credit card game. Because believe it or not, losing a dispute with a credit card isn't all that uncommon. I actually did some research before you and I came on the thing because you
Interesting.
told me a little thing, and it's people winning a dispute is about 50-50, right? I personally, when somebody's disputed with me, I got fortunate. I've never lost a dispute as long as I provided the information. I did lose some disputes only when I didn't have documentation. I didn't have contracts and stuff. Um, but when I started having contracts, I never lost a dispute. Fortunately, knock on wood,
Yeah.
right? Um, so, and then the two times I did have to take somebody to court, I won both times. So,
Jay, that reminds me, I lost one dispute, and that's because the sign-in sheet did not have the same name as the person that had paid for the move, because the mom had paid for the move, and obviously those names don't match. That's why I needed a credit card authorization form, and we have that when the name doesn't match and that person's not going to be on site.
right. And then the other thing that you should put on your thing is an authorized agent, right? You should get a signature if there should be a line for an authorized agent during that. So if Sally is doing the move, but Sally's mother is paying for it, then Sally's mother is an authorized agent. So
I see.
Sally would have to sign it as well as her mother or the person who's going to operate in her stead.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that's something that should be on paperwork too. And like if you go to Millbrook or whatever that company is, if you go on their paperwork, it does have authorized person, or I forget the wording of it, but it says authorized agent or authorized signature or something like that. So that is a smart thing to do.
Okay. All right, cool. That's all the questions I had for you. And I was feeling really bad this weekend. Of course, my 49ers lost, but I'm a 49ers fan for life. Jim Harbaugh's the man, and he's going to turn around the San Diego Chargers. So, good for them. And also because I got that bad news. So, I don't know if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you have to be a crazy girl, a crazy guy, and this stuff will hopefully not have to happen too often, and hopefully you could learn a lesson from this.
E- exactly. Hopefully, this will help service other people who have disputes or
Right.
when they lose a dispute, what they can do. There's always recourse. You know what I mean? So if you lose a dispute with the credit card, that's fine. Take them to court. I mean, even if you don't win, the fact that you stood up for yourself, will make that person think twice next time. So, you know, you never know when you're going to think. But if you have your paperwork and you have your ducks, there's really no reason why you should lose.
Got it. Okay. All right. Awesome. All right, man. In that case, enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks for having me join.
Not a problem. Thank you for doing this. And we'll talk to you till later sometime. All right.
All right, man. See ya.
All right. Bye-bye.